So what you're looking at, all what looks like straw that's on the ground, if you guys were here 2 weeks ago, this was 8-foot-high sorghum Sudan grass that was in here. And I got some pictures I could send you if you want to see. But the process of what's happened was there were pigs overwintering here. So we use these for piglets, for young pigs in the winter. They were set up here for the winter, kind of rotating around, and then we use them to disturb the soil, and then we'll overseed the paddocks with sorghum Sudan grass and pearl millet. Let that grow up during the spring. It'll probably get grazed off once by the herbivores. But here in the later summer, that stuff really takes off and gets 6, 8, 10 feet high. We can then bring the cows back in, have them graze it off again. We do have to bush hog it. So when the cows are done, all these stems are still standing upright, but they've been stripped of their leaves. So we'll bush hog it down, and then we can run the birds over it again. So this particular spot here, in the course of a year, we'll have pigs on it, typically once. The cows will probably come through 4 to 7 times, depending on just the rotation. And then poultry will come through once. So we're getting a lot of different species on the same piece of ground, but they have this symbiotic relationship with each other, where the parasites from the pigs aren't going to be an issue for the cows, and from the cows aren't going to be an issue for the poultry. So we can stack those enterprises on top of each other on the same acreage and get a lot of forage production as well.
And then how, using those 3 different types of animals, how are they helping the actual land?
So each animal does something a little bit different for the land. Broilers, they're pretty much just fertilization machines. They'll eat some of the grass for sure if it's young and tender. We're not really trying to use them to do anything beyond just live in the area for a day and put poop on the ground. And why we really only like to hit the spot once, maybe twice in a year, is they're putting a lot of nitrogen down. If you're going 3, 4, 5, 6 times over the same ground, you're going to over nutrientize, if that's a word, the soil, and then it'll stop growing grass eventually. It'll just be a bunch of weeds. Cattle are great that they are going to actually eat the plants mostly or in their entirety and carry that manure somewhere else. So the nutrients can get moved around depending on where shade is, where water is, how tight we have the cows together. We can use them as a trampling effect on weeds. If there's a lot going on, we just close in the paddock that they have. So like this particular corner right here, let's say maybe it was 2/3 of an acre. We had 24 cow-calf pairs here for 2 days eating this sorghum Sudan grass. So that's pretty high stocking density. Pigs are really useful as an agent of chaos, let's just say. A disturbing agent on the soil, which can be destructive if done improperly. If they were just left here forever,
yeah, it'd be destroyed.
It would be a complete moonscape. There's some other farms that we drive by occasionally that have had pigs on this rocky hillside for years, and it looks like a mountainside of Afghanistan kind of thing. But bringing pigs through again once, maybe twice a year, allowing them, they will graze a decent amount of forage. They also will disturb the soil, which is something a lot of farmers will buy a lot of expensive machinery to do. But we'll let the pigs do that. We can overseed it while the pigs are still there. And of course, pigs like to eat things. So we've learned if it's a seed smaller than a sunflower seed, they won't eat much of it. They might get a little bit, but it's not enough to notice the difference. But they will go back through and work the ground over again, going after that seed and trampling it down. So they'll push that seed into the soil, either with their noses or with their hooves. So all this sorghum Sudan grass that was here, that was just broadcast seeded while the pigs were here. They trampled in the ground, and then it grew up. Pigs are also going to put down a lot of manure. They're going to put down a lot of phosphorus as well, which is why we really got to limit the amount of time that they're on the ground, so we don't have a lot of overloading of phosphorus and phosphorus runoff. All 3 of those put together, though, can equate to a tremendous amount of protein productivity, let's say, coming off of a piece of ground, where we are just the managers of timing when they're there, how long they're there, and when they come back later on.
I'm just curious then, from just your eyeballs, what have you noticed since, the 10 plus years of implementing that here?
So the first year that we were here, the front field up there, I remember we could walk through that field and the grass was so imploded. So when grass grows, it will the roots and the crowns will cover the area, but then if it's not disturbed for a long period of time, it actually starts imploding back on itself. You could walk through that field without touching grass because the grass was just growing in clumps in different areas because it hadn't been disturbed either by animals or even machinery. The ground needs some type of disturbance to have a high level of productivity. And we're not talking about like plows and ripping it up, but it needs the hooves of animals on it, the scratching of chickens, even the rooting of pigs can be a useful tool to have. So what we've seen with this farm is a level of productivity that is unmatched by other grazing operations around us. We're surrounded by cow-calf guys who do year-round continuous grazing type of models. We're carrying more pounds per acre with herbivores and grazing much longer throughout the season, and into the winter than they are, without using any chemical fertilization because we're using animals to fertilize and disturb and manage. A couple years ago, we were in a pretty bad drought, and some of the neighbors around us, they were only off hay for 37 days that summer. And for us, that was a normal, we were definitely affected by the drought. Our grass was, retarded in its growth, but we still carried the same stocking density and went pretty much the same length through the year, which is a testament to just the fertility of the soil.
It builds resilience.
Yeah, and then also just pasture management in a general sense, that when you have a stand of grass that's knee high, that is going to shade the soil and protect the moisture you have vastly more than if it's just continually grazed and just being mowed off every day. In the last 2 years, something I've noticed is we use hay contractors to mow a lot of our hay. We don't have much hay equipment ourselves. And fields, we have a lot of thunderstorms during the summer, 1, 2, 3 inches of rain in an hour or two. And fields that are similar to ones that we have mowed, it would be several days after that storm, and my hay contractor's like, hey, we can't come in because there's gonna be standing water in your fields that there is over at this guy's place or that guy's place. And I'll walk out there and there's never standing water. And that's because the soil is healthy, it's got an appropriate level of biological activity in it, and it's loosened up, and it can absorb all that water. And I'm sure you heard the numbers on what is it, roughly every 1% of organic matter is like 20,000 gallons of retention or something like that.
Yeah.